So, hey, how's it going? I've made a bunch of stupid videos, some of like shooting a bow, some of running, talking about how I'm going to start controlling my life and how I'm going to get in better health and how I'm going to get skinny and how I'm going to do this, how I'm going to do that, ABC, X, Y, and Z, whatever. So for the past probably, I want to say 2.5 weeks now, I went and getting a job, a full-time job has never been hard for me. Let me start out with that. So instead of buying and selling random vehicles, whatever, TVs, anything, X, Y, and Z to sell, I've never wanted to associate myself with being a salesman, but that is what I am. However, I work as a detailer for cars, cars and RVs and trucks and you name it. I can clean it, I can detail it, is what it is. It's not just so much. I mainly work on cars and detail cars and engine bases, and I don't even think that's the proper term. But so anyways, I decided I was tired of not having a guaranteed paycheck, I guess. And that turned into me having a full-time job plus an hour and a half a day of overtime. Hour in the morning, half an hour at night. I'm the first one there. On my crew, there's numerous different people. There's, mechanics, painters, drivers, deliverers, you name it. There's probably people there at 5 a.m. or whatever. I'm not there. So it's difficult for the reason of I've seen and been looking for at least, I want to say 3 weeks to almost a month now. I want to say next week will probably be a month. And being able to work full-time, I'm also completely secluded and able to have one headphone in, two headphones in, whatever, to always continuously listen to music, whatever I want to watch, to listen to. Not so much watch because it's in my pocket. And I've looked at, I've probably, in the last, as many hours I've worked, I've probably watched twice as much. So a minimum of 300 hours I have listened to, I have completely comprehended, and there's numerous videos that I have, as pathetic as it sounds, is I can almost memorize it. And I haven't seen a single one of any guys being just completely honest. And even now that I say that, I literally just felt a switch in it. And the switch that I'm speaking of is being bipolar. I probably looked at this video maybe twice while I made it so far. If you look in my eyes, I'm trying to figure out or look around or whatever. And one thing I can say for sure is anybody that has ever met me will say two things about me, but consecutively in this way to soften the blow. I am the nicest guy you have ever met in your entire life. The most sincere, the most kind. But I am the most cruel, deceitful, manipulating, condescending, and the worst part about it is I truly do believe my own lies. Now, when you believe your own lies, when this thing they call a disease of bipolar, I can't find any guys that are willing to just talk about it. And for me, I don't think I would have been able to talk about it if I didn't do my research and I didn't listen to as many videos and, I guess, vlogs, blogs, moto blogs, moto vlogs, a little bit of everything. And number one thing is I do passionately believe in whatever you love in this world will really kind of always be a part of you. It'll always be in your mind. It'll always be what your goal is. It'll always be surrounding you, about you, and in your personality, no matter what, on meds or off of meds. And I want to say, as effed up as it is, I don't know what my hobbies are, what my likes are, what I'm gonna love doing. Because sometimes I can love digging in the dirt for something that I'm learning about, or I can love going 190 miles an hour on a brand new motorcycle that I just traded for. I've literally owned more vehicles and motorcycles than I can probably count. Well, not than I can count, but I guess, whatever. But I want to say a minimum of probably 50 vehicles and a minimum of 37 to 38 motorcycles, and I'm 26 years old. And life is difficult. There's so many females that are, I mean no disrespect, I'm sorry about that. There are so many women and girls that are out there that are willing to speak about this, but there are no males, there are no men that are willing to speak about this. This disorder that we have to deal with. Just being bipolar as a male with testosterone adds so many more levels to it than you. And I mean, not that any girl can understand that. I can't imagine what they deal with hormonal issues and female issues. I mean, yeah, but I've been on meds since I was probably 7 years old to 18 to 17 years old. And I fought it. I made horrible decisions. I was a terrible child to my parents. I suffered with depression. I suffered with a lot of different things. And as a 26-year-old male, here's one thing I've never found that I'm trying to understand more and more about everything, but no one is completely honest. And one thing that I haven't seen is the women talk about suffering, being bipolar, and they have they can cry for manic and different reasons and cry for no end, And the thing is, I don't cry for no end, but when you're alone as a guy, as a man, as a male, you completely separate yourself. You do. And I don't think I would have known that I separate myself for this reason. After a lot of research and just self-discovery, is I separate myself so nobody can separate themselves from me. Which, as tough as I think I am, just got another tattoo. Tattoos literally up and down my body, you know. These tattoos gave me comfort. And the newest one that you see right here is actually nice. It's a rest in peace, Grandpa Joe. Gear off of my favorite bike. 1 rose, 2 rows. A total manic episode that I had lasted no more than probably 12 hours. I spent $1,000 to get a tattoo. In the middle of the night on Sunday night when I was supposed to go to work on Monday morning, and I didn't even call in to work Monday morning, and ended up getting a tattoo all night long until about 10 a.m. literally 3.5 hours after I'm supposed to be at work. And I didn't care. I got home, I thought about it, and I realized didn't take my medicine for the last 2.5 days. And that's for no reason but my own choosing. But I subliminally, or maybe just subconsciously, or honestly, to be real, I just did not want to take it. And that's probably one of the worst things you could ever do. I don't feel a lot. But, you know, I'm kind of one of the very lucky people that I have a mother that actually helps me out consistently. I am a guy raised with 3 sisters, my mom and my dad, and not my biological dad, my stepdad. Not that that matters, nor should it, for the fact is, my biological dad, his family, they're all alcoholics, drug addicts, things like that. But I can look hippie like this, little scruffy, or I can look like a damn near attorney. It's these things that women talk about, and I totally admire so many of you YouTube girls that talk about having bipolar, the things you live with, the things you have to deal with, because I have not been able to, I found 1 or 2 that I found actually sincere, and as a guy, it is not sociably acceptable to talk about it. If I would, at work, openly, the job that I have now, I've been working 3, almost a month, maybe a little more than a month, whatever. If I was to come out and say, hey, I'm bipolar, ADHD, and ADD, which I think ADD actually got just sucked into ADHD. I could be wrong. I don't know. That was quite a while ago. They told me I was 3 things. I was treated for 3 things, and then insurance ran out, and here I am. And I'm blessed enough to have my old, I guess, psychiatrist, still filling my prescriptions. Prescription, because I only get one. I'm on lithium. I get what a lot of people say about not wanting to be on medication. I understand that more so than anybody. No, not more so than anybody, because anybody that's bipolar, we all understand this. Girls, guys, we all understand this. And there's something I haven't found that I've understood that I really wish somebody can maybe throw some more advice so I can understand it even more. And what that is as tough as we all think we are. Yeah. The guys like me, the guys not like me, but the guys that have this hidden identity that we know we shouldn't be drinking. We know we shouldn't smoke cigarettes. It's an addiction. It's so many things in life. There comes a point in time, and I hate to quote things, but I actually love to quote things, but apparently on YouTube you can't quote things, but maybe not verbatim at least. So from the words of Blow, the movie Blow with Johnny Depp. I know that sounds stupid as shit, like I'm talking about Edward Scissorhands or whatever, but you know, I heard this and it was quite interesting to me. My grasp far exceeded my talent, and my expectations far exceeded my grasp. And you may reach for the stars and you still may only get to 200 feet. But as long as you get to 200 feet and you don't go any lower than 200 feet, and no matter what in your life, no matter how old you get, you continuously climb, even if it's 1 foot, 1 year. Because the most common thing that I have heard, and that I'm truly starting to believe and understand, is that we all underestimate what we can do in a year. And then we all also underestimate what we can do in a decade. There's a fine line in that we all have to understand. And whether you like taking medication or not, sometimes whether you feel dead inside